am sitting behind a massive stack of books. This is my September book haul for the most part. There's a couple that are coming in at the end of September that I'll just maybe do another video in October, but this is way too many, so I didn't want to wait even longer to put those in. So here we are. This is all of my recent editions, and this includes books and graphic novels, manga. Mostly it's manga, so hopefully it won't take too long to show what I have gotten in recent times. So where do I begin? So let's take a look at what I got. I'll start with the manga because there's a lot of volumes that go together. I got all of the manga from Right Stuf. So if you've never shopped with them, their website is now, I believe, rightstufanime.com. You can go there and they have a lot of manga, anime, and a lot of figures and accessories, a lot of stuff you can just buy. So check them out. They usually have sales on as well. Like, their prices are usually really good, and a lot of times they'll do sales. So I love shopping at Right Stuf. They're great. I've been shopping with them for eons. At least it feels like eons. And yes, I highly recommend them. So the first thing that I'll start with is a series that I actually plan to do a separate video reviewing, and that is Yona of the Dawn. It's a massive fantasy shoujo manga, and it's great. I was actually considering for a while, I had purchased the first 15 volumes, and I was considering just donating them to my library and having them there because the series is so massive. I was like, well, I'm not sure I love it enough to keep it for myself. You know, I have limited shelf room. And then I read it again because I knew the story. I'd watched the anime a while ago when it first premiered. And I was like, I don't know, I really liked it, but do I like it enough to keep it? And then I'm reading it and I'm like, dang it. I love this series. It's so good. So I do plan on reviewing it. My recent editions here are until, I believe, volume 25. Yes, volume 25. This is still ongoing in Japan, and I think they're up to the 35th volume. So I have at least another 10 volumes to buy. And I don't know if they're anywhere near the end. This is certainly the longest shoujo manga series that I have grabbed. I think before then, most of mine end. Maybe it's Fruits Basket might be the longest one that I have, which is 20 some odd volumes. But yeah, this is massive. But I'm so excited to read this, and I really enjoy the artwork and the characters. So look for a video on Yona of the Dawn in the future. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I certainly will because I really enjoy this series. So the next series that I picked up, and I'm very excited to start, it's a new series for me. It is Witch Hat Atelier. I always love seeing that word because I'm never sure whether to say it more French or more English. I feel bad if I say a French word more like with an American English accent, because I do have French roots. So it's always very weird for me when I say a French word and I'm just like, that's not how my grandmother would say it, but I live in America. But anyway, I read a preview chapter for this series, and I thought it was really good, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. I picked up the first 5 volumes. I don't know if volume 6 is out yet. I think I grabbed whatever was available now. The 6th one might be coming out as this video comes out. I don't remember. But I am very excited to start this one. It is another fantasy series. I think it's another fantasy shoujo series. I don't know. I think it would be classified as another fantasy shoujo series, which are some of my favorites because I love fantasy in general. But yeah, I look forward to trying this one. I know that the young girl, she dreams of being a witch, and and I think she's powerless, but then she, if I remember the preview correctly, she tries a spell or something that she finds, and it gets involved with I don't remember if they call him a wizard or if they call them all witches, but anyway, magic user, and I think she's going to train and like be an apprentice, but I didn't get that far. Like I said, I just read a preview of it and it looked good to me. I liked the artwork and the style, so I look forward to seeing what the series actually is like. So, yay. Oh, it's interesting too. I don't know if it's because my order was big or if they were doing a thing, but I got some free cards with my order. So there was like Ein from Cowboy Bebop. I think this is just an advertisement card, so it's got some games on it. I don't know who this maid is. And then there's a Sailor Moon Dice Challenge game card. So, it was interesting. I think it's just an advertisement for this game company, but I've never, like, received game cards in my Right Stuff package before. Usually it is just these kind of advertisements, so this one is to try High Dive, which is an anime streaming service. Here's an ad for Children of the Sea. And there's a few other ones on this one. Promare and Ride Your Wave. And then Weathering with You. So usually you get these kind of advertisements. This is the first time I've gotten a card advertisement. So I picked up the latest volume of Cardcaptor Sakura, the Clear Card Arc. This is volume 7. I have no idea where this is going to go or end. I still love Sakura. I think it's great that they went back to this series. Again, I'm not sure where it's going. Most of it is really just to build up Sakura's power or in some way get her more in control of her abilities. And I think that's really where this is going, is just getting her more in control. But I'm not sure. I do look forward to continuing until it's done. I don't know how long it's going to go for either. I'm pretty sure it's still going on in Japan. But I'm very excited to read that one. Let's see what else. Let's get some BL out of the way. So I also picked up volume 2 of Cast Heaven. This is a messed up story, but I love Chise Ogawa's art style. I'm pretty sure she actually also did a shoujo series, which I would like to see licensed in America. I do think her art is really pleasant to the eye, so even though this story is a little bit messed up, it's about a school where essentially there's a caste system that's determined by, I wouldn't really call it a card game, but it's a deck of cards, and they pick up whatever card they can find, and then that determines their caste. And there are some that are the lowest ranking, and then there are the kings that are the highest ranking, and everybody pretty much serves the king. And it leads to all sorts of complications. It's about all I'm going to say about this. But I do think it's an interesting story, even though it's a bit disturbing. So, and the other one is Given, Volume 2. If you have not heard of Given yet, it is a story that is about a band, essentially. There is Mafuyu, who has experienced some past trauma, and he meets Uenoyama, who is right there. So that's Mafuyu, and that's Uenoyama. He meets him and notices that he has a guitar bag, and then he asks him, while he's playing guitar, I think, and he asks him if he can teach him, and he's like, no, but he does eventually teach him, and he joins the band as the singer. So it's really about their meeting and interpersonal relationships and the band itself. I like that it has the band in it. It's just really good, and getting to Mafuyu's past tragedy is really good. And then seeing them move forward is really good. So I look forward to reading more Given. It was also an anime series, so you could actually stream it. It's still on Crunchyroll, so yeah, look for that. Next is Shortcake Cake. This is volume 9, the latest volume. I've been enjoying this series. It's a little, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's definitely shoujo. Ten is the main character. So Ten leaves her home to go to school, and so she has to live in this group home and, attend school. And they do have certain rules, like the guys and the girls that live there aren't supposed to interact, but of course that never actually works, right? I mean, it's shoujo, so of course immediately emotions start happening. So she actually falls for Riku, who is one of the boys that live there. Meanwhile, there's sort of a love triangle because one of the other boys, who starts off as her friend, kind of loves her, but it's all complicated. But he also really likes Riku, and so he kind of wants to see them happy as well. Yeah, it's just shoujo drama. But it's interesting, and in this volume, I believe we're going to get more of Riku's past and maybe discover why he is in some ways the way that he is. So, this is just a sweet kind of story. If you just like regular shoujo romance, Shortcake Cake I would recommend. It has kind of a different art style too. I don't know. I like it. It's pleasant to me. Oh, the next one, forgot I had this in there, is Snow White with the Red Hair. It seems like around this time there was a lot of heroines with red hair that premiered around the same time. There was Yona of the Dawn, Snow White with the Red Hair, The Ancient Magus' Bride. Anyway, essentially there was just a lot of these, but I do enjoy Snow White with the Red Hair. This is a shoujo fantasy series once again. But what's kind of nice is that Shirayuki is an herbalist, and she has a relationship with the Prince Zen, but he's very supportive of her being her own person and being an herbalist. It's not like she just has to be rescued all the time. She is her own independent person, and so I love seeing their relationship. And Zen is still really dashing and heroic and prince-like, so they're just enjoyable. And this is the latest volume, is volume 7, so it's the one I have here. And the next are actually 2 Io Sakisaka series. This one is Aoharu Ride, or Blue Spring Ride. I actually watched the anime first years ago now, and I fell in love with the story. I did actually have Io Sakisaka's other work, which is Strobe Edge, and I really love her dramatic ability. I don't know. She does really well with these kind of slice of life romances. She gets really to the emotional heart of the characters. Blue Spring Ride, the anime, and I'm sure the manga as well, just made me cry hysterically. Because I was watching it at a point in my life where, I don't know, it hit home. So, this is really good. I believe this is getting close to the end of this, because this is already volume 11, so I'm pretty sure this is almost done. And the other one is volume 2 and 3 of her newer series, Love Me, Love Me Not. This one I can only explain, well, I've only read the first volume so far, and I just know that it is a twisty romance, where, like, girl likes boy, boy likes, I think, other girl. I don't know, it's all complicated. But, yeah, there's 4 friends, there's stuff happening, there's romantic intrigue and drama, so I look forward to seeing what actually happens with the story. I do hope that the friends stay friends and don't get overly competitive. I do hope everybody's happy in the end, and I'm sure they will, because it's shoujo manga, so it should end happily. There might be some tears, though, because it's Io Sakisaka. But usually not, like, too overly dramatic. So next is this beauty. This is Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the Eternal Edition, and this is volume 8. I've been collecting these all along because they're gorgeous editions of Sailor Moon. Look at that. It got the right treatment. This is beautiful. I'm so happy to own this. I do have 2 other versions of Sailor Moon already, plus the Japanese edition, but who could resist getting this? It's beautiful. It's got gorgeous covers, which I love this. I forgot to just say quickly, if you don't know what Sailor Moon is, because it's one of the classic and the magical girl shoujo genre. Essentially, Usagi Tsukino discovers that she is the guardian of Justice, Sailor Moon, so she transforms into Sailor Moon. She finds other companions that are also Sailor Guardians, and they save the world. That is the very short take on it, but that is essentially what happens, and they work together over time. She makes friends. She just saves the world. It's a classic. If you have not read that classic, then what's wrong with you? There's some good editions of it out right now, and you can pretty much find it everywhere. So lastly for the manga is Cardcaptor Sakura, the collector's edition, and this is volumes 3 and 4, so I already have 1 and 2. Cardcaptor Sakura, which you saw my later clear card arc in there, but the original series follows Sakura Kinomoto. She finds a book in her father's office library, and all of these cards get freed and they fly away. She discovers the guardian of the book, Keroberos, or Kero-chan, and he gives her the key to capture the cards. So she has to go out into the world and find the cards that she accidentally released and gain control of them and power. She does have magical abilities which allow her to take control of the cards and gather them all back together. But she has to gather all the cards or the world will be destroyed. Cardcaptor Sakura in a nutshell. So again, this is another magical girl series. It came out after Sailor Moon. These 2 are not the original or originators of the magical girl genre, but they are 2 that made it immensely popular, and especially here in the States. Cardcaptor Sakura would be joined by Clamp's other work, Magic Knight Ray Earth. They were the 2 big ones for them. Let's get on to books. Actually, I'm going to start with graphic novels. So I just picked up volume 2 and 3, or volumes 2 and 3 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is just an enjoyable series. I love these characters, and I don't know, her art style is so just nice. I don't know. Like, it's not overly done, you know, it's not overly beatific, but there is something kind of grabbing about it. So, but this essentially tells the story of Nick and Charlie. They meet and become friends, and as they're discussing their lives and hanging out, they become closer, and then could it be more than friendship, and then developing from there. So it's kind of a coming of age romantic story. That's how I would describe it that way, but there's of course so much more to it than that. That's very boiling down and simplifying it. So what's interesting is that my volume 1 of Heartstopper was actually from the Kickstarter from Alice Oseman. So it's a little bit different. It'll look a little bit different. It is the same size, but it looks a little bit different from the actual publication of it. So this is from the official publishers, who are Hodor. And this is my Kickstarter one. So like the pages themselves, this is white. The grip of the paper is a little bit different. But what's nice though is that because I supported the publishing of this one, I also got some rewards, like some little art stuff. can't show you this one or that one, spoilers. Yeah, and some little stickers. And I should say, originally this is from a webcomic that is available to read on Tapas. So you can actually go there now and look up Heartstopper, and you can read it right now without buying this. But I like to support the artist and writer, so, I mean, she's both. So Heartstopper. I did actually read all of this online as the webcomic, but I will be doing a reread so they can see how it looks in novel format. So next, we have some new books. Yay, finally. So first I picked up Cemetery Boys. This is a pre-order. I thought this was coming out way before, and I think actually it might have been meant to, but then the world went into catastrophe mode, so it might have gotten delayed. I can't remember if this was the original publication time or if it got delayed, but either way, it's finally here. This is Cemetery Boys. I believe, I haven't read it yet, but I believe this deals with transgender issues, and I think that the main character, I don't remember what their purpose is, but I think they end up summoning a ghost and then stuff happens. So I'm just intrigued to see the storyline, how it develops, and I don't know. The whole sense of it seemed interesting to me, so I do look forward to giving this one a read. Hopefully it's really good and I enjoy this read. If it is, I'll be back with a review on it. Maybe even if it's not, I will. I mean, who knows? I'm sure it'll be good. The next book I picked up and also was a pre-order is As the Shadow Rises. This is the sequel to There Will Come a Darkness, which came out, I believe, last year. I did finish that book. I mean, obviously, why else would I want the second book? So I did make sure to pre-order this. I gotta see what happens to all the characters. Essentially, the world could be ending if they don't stop what's happening. There's a big cast of characters. I probably can't really accurately describe this one. Plus, I don't want to give away the events of book one. But just know there's a lot of bad stuff happening, and they have to try to fix everything and find a way to do that. So, we'll see what happens. What is nice too is that because I pre-ordered it, I got the pre-order gift. So it is a pin, and it says, "Let the end of the world begin," which I just feel is very fitting for 2020, because that's what it feels like every day. Let the end of the world begin. So this is a fantasy series, and yeah, there's not much else to say about it. You know, there's always the high stakes in fantasy where you are trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. I do remember, no, I don't want to give it away. I can't give it away. If you have not read the first book, There Will Come a Darkness, give that one a read, and you'll probably want to move on to this one, As the Shadow Rises. But I really look forward to reading this one and finding out what happens to all of the characters. Hopefully they save the world. I'm getting most of the time they save the world. I really hate it though when characters die, so I'm hoping there's not like huge character deaths. It happens though. My next book actually is not like a new book. This is one that I've read before and enjoyed, and they released it as this special ginormous tome of a volume. This is The Modern Fairy Tales. So this is Holly Black's first entry into her fairy realms that are more teen-driven. So there's this series that is comprised of Tithe, Valiant, Ironside, and there's also The Lament of Ludi Lou, which I don't think I ever read. And then it moves into The Darkest Part of the Forest, and then finally ends with the Folk of the Air series. But this would be essentially the first part of that, and then it spins off into the other books. And they all come together in the Folk of the Air series. So I did read this already, but I wanted to get this to go along with The Darkest Part of the Forest and my Folk of the Air series books. And that's essentially it. Much like the other series by Holly Black that involve the fairy-scape, there's characters that end up going into fairy and having adventures and making decisions, and yeah, it's a fairy story, so it essentially fits with the rest of the world. I like them. I like fairy fantasy, because who among us don't in some way want to be taken away to the realm of fairy and like have this otherworldly journey. Sometimes I don't want that because it's kind of scary, but for the most part, I like it. So my next book has been out for a little while. It's Diamond and Dawn. This is the second book for the Amber and Dusk. I believe it's just a duology, so this should be the conclusion to Amber and Dusk. I had gotten Amber and Dusk quite a while ago in my uppercase box, which they don't even make anymore, so that tells you it's been a couple of years. And it had taken me a while to get to that book, and then when I finally did read it, I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to pick up the second volume. So this should be the conclusion of the duology. Essentially, the first book told the story of the main character who kind of gets swept up into this world of the aristocratic group, who I think all had different abilities. I'm trying to remember how she got swept up into it, like if it was discovered that she had abilities, because I think she started as poor. And then she gets swept up into this world, and of course all of this stuff happens. She's meeting like other people. There's like light romance. And there's of course some political intrigue and debate over how things are run. And anyway, I'll probably do a quick skim, not necessarily a reread, but a quick skim through to remember all the facts of the other book. But I do look forward to seeing how it ends, because I did like that book enough to where I wanted to see what would happen with the characters. So I'm glad to finally own this and hopefully close out the duology successfully. So this is The Court of Miracles, and mostly what I can say about why I picked this up is because of all the descriptions saying that it was in part like Les Mis, and I love Les Mis. So I grabbed it. And I mean that like all the way through. I have read the book by Victor Hugo. I love the musical, so that immediately grabbed me in. I think there is supposed to be magic involved in here too. So if I hear like fantasy and Les Mis, I'm gonna grab it, and so I did. I don't know much more else about this book other than that. Like literally, it was like Les Mis and fantasy, and I was like, all right, I'll grab that, and I did. So hopefully this book will be good. You'll probably see a review on it in the future. I like the cover. The cover looks interesting. So. And then lastly, another new book, Where Dreams Descend, and this is another case where I heard it compared to something and grabbed it. So in this case, I heard whispers of Phantom of the Opera, and I was like, okay, I will grab that. Again, Phantom is one, I think it was Phantom and Night Circus they compared it to, which I love both of those. I've read The Phantom of the Opera. I read it back when I was very young, and I of course love the musical. So yes, if I hear like Night Circus, which I also read and loved, if I hear Night Circus and Phantom of the Opera, I'm gonna be like, yes, I'll try that book. So I don't know much else about it. There is once again magic involved. So again, if it's fantasy, if it gets comparisons to Night Circus and Phantom of the Opera, I'm gonna try it. So I grabbed this one. I do look forward to getting to this book. And once again, after I read it, I'm sure I'll do a review of this one too. I like that there's, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's like sparkly embossing on it. So it's my last book that I picked up for September. I've got a lot to get through. Hopefully I'll do some further reviews and I'll share them with you, but that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me for this book haul, and I will see you next time. Bye!